Yo, welcome back to another episode of The Narrow Path. I'm Jack Savage. This is Easton Moore and Luke Wilson. Today we're going to take a deeper look into Luke chapter 6. Easton's going to get us started.
Thanks, Jack. And yeah, welcome back, guys. So Luke chapter 6, it's a lot of parables. We've got like a parable is kind of like a story, a way to teach someone, but in story form. And this Jesus starts doing this. He's used parables before, but this is like a lot than what he's used before. And so Luke chapter 6 starts off, Jesus, he has like a big group of people that like he walks with and walk with him. They're on this journey with him. He calls them his disciples. So he kind of teaches them and they're there with him. So he picks out 12 of these disciples and calls them his apostles. And so anyway, Jesus goes on to like teach to them and teach parables and stuff. So one of the first ones I wanted to talk about, we're going to talk about as many as we can. So it says, can a blind man lead a blind man? Will they both not fall into a pit? So this parable is like warning about if you follow like maybe an unqualified leader or something, or even someone who like if you're listening to someone who's like, if they're telling you not to do like a certain sin maybe or something like that, and you're listening to them, that's kind of like hypocrisy. And it's just saying like you're at risk of like having like the same thing. It's a call for like kind of like self-awareness and accountability among like who you're listening to in this thing. And then so the next one, it says, a disciple is not above his teacher, but everyone when he is fully trained will be like his teacher.
Now what this means is it's like when you're a disciple, it's like you're following someone, it's like you're their apprentice, right? But after a while you'll finally know what to do. You'll finally reach like a teacher status yourself. And then you yourself can become and go out and start teaching people.
Yes, sir. Our next one here, it says, why do you see the speck that is in your brother's eye, but do not notice the log that is in your own eye? So this like, it focuses on hypocrisy again. So like people oftentimes focus on their own like on the faults or sins of like other people and like friends, family, anything. And so doing that, they ignore their own sin. So like if I were to see Luke doing like a sin that I do and I like point that out, that's like hypocrisy because I'm literally doing it, but I'm judging him for doing it. So Jesus calls for like examine yourself, and like it says humility before correcting others. Like address your own flaws first. So because like only then you can help the others. Whenever like you can fix yourself first, if that makes sense.
A good example of this is like, say you're on a boat and you see your brother in the water drowning, right? If you are firm on the boat, you know, you're not in the sin, for instance, yourself, and you can grab them and you have all your stability to pull them up. But now, if you got 1 foot hanging off the boat, so 1 foot on the boat, 1 foot off the boat, that means like, in this sense, it would be like if you're in the sin yourself and you try pulling your brother up, you're both gonna fall into the water.
Thank you, Luke, for that. And we've got a few more here. There's a lot in here. So the next one says, no good tree bears bad fruit, nor again does a bad tree bear good fruit. So Jesus, like, he kind of uses this metaphor of a tree to teach that like a person's actions, which in this case in the story is their fruit, it reveals their character, like the tree in the story. So just as like the healthy trees are going to produce good fruit, so people with a good heart will naturally produce like good actions, and like it'll show that through their actions. But so on the other hand, like a corrupt heart will lead to like harmful actions and like sinful things and stuff like that. So it kind of shows the importance of like inner transformation and really aligning like your heart with God's will. So our next one, it says, everyone who comes to me and hears my words and does them is like a man building a house who dug deep and laid the foundation on the rock.
No, that one's pretty simple. It's like if you put your trust in Jesus and build your life around him, your life's going to be firm. Because when you really get to know God, you have a relationship with him and you understand that God's all that matters. So even if everything else falls down around you, you're still in a good mood because God is your firm foundation. But now say your trust is in something like a sport, like basketball, baseball, something, and then that comes crumbling down around you, all of a sudden you're in a really bad spot.
It's good. And we've got just a few more here. This one says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So it kind of draws attention to how like words reflect your inner self. Kind of like that tree and the fruit one. Like just as a tree will produce like fruit, like consistent with its nature, like a person's like how you talk reveals like the state of your heart. So this calls for like, Jesus is calling for like an internal transformation, and so that like you can speak goodness and goodness will come out of you. So we've got, this one says, give and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you.
So this is just talking about like when you give to others, you shouldn't expect anything in return. But if you give to others, such will be given to you. But if you don't give to others, then you won't get such.
And then, so we have our next one that says, if you love those who love you, what credit is that to you? Even sinners love those who love them. So I actually really like this one. It's saying like, so like, it's not saying much to say like, I mean it is, but like, it's not much to say like, you love someone like when they love you. It's harder to say you love someone when they don't love you or they're like your enemy. And so we're called to love our enemies in the Bible. And so Jesus is calling for like a love that extends even to like people who we may not like or something. So he uses examples like turning the other cheek, or like giving freely to people, and like showing mercy, just to illustrate like God's character running through you.
It's like loving the Judas in your life, the person that betrays you and hurts you. And it's like, it's a lot easier to love Jesus because he doesn't betray you, he doesn't hurt you. It's really easy to love the people that love you. But when it comes down to loving that Judas in your life, that person that's always hurting you and just out to get you, that's where it counts.
And so we have one last one here. It says, be merciful just as your Father is merciful. And Jack's gonna try and explain this.
So I think so this one will like showing God's mercy is such a very simple thing, but it's also something they could take very deeply. So it talks about human behavior. So like when you like have like a situationship or like a situation and that is like a hurtful situation, you gotta just show mercy. Like you don't have to like throw punches at someone because that's not the right thing to do, right? Showing mercy is such a hard but very valuable thing to do in your life. It's very clearly the heart of the gospel, and showing God's love toward others, and showing the prime example of why we should not only just love God, but we should love others and show mercy to them. So that's what I think about when it talks about in Luke 6:36, be merciful just as your Father has been merciful to you.
Yes, sir. That was great. Thank you.
Thank you.
These aren't all of the parables, I don't think. There's still many more, but we tried to sum a good amount of them up and try and get a really good message out to you guys. So,
And we'll see you all tomorrow for episode 7.
yes, sir.
Yeah, check it out.
Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Stay blessed.